Today we'll be designing a warm-up for client A who will be focusing on a deadlift and a bench press. So let's get right into it with the general warm-up. Before getting on the elliptical, ensure that the platform closest to you is rotated in the downward position before stepping onto the platform. Hold onto the handlebars to support yourself while you mount. When on the elliptical, be sure to focus on positioning of your hand, posture, and feet. Hand grip is important and should be below shoulder height with a firm grip. If the grip is too high, this could cause tightness in the neck and shoulder, which is what we want to avoid. We also want to maintain a good upright posture during the entirety of the workout. You do not want to slouch, as this could cause discomfort in the lower back. Lastly, feet should remain in contact with the pedals at all times. This will help take pressure off ankles and knees and help fully engage in hip and thigh muscles. Moving on to dynamic stretches and mobility. First, we'll start off with some arm circles. We're going to begin with abducting the arms, bringing them out to the side about shoulder level height, creating a T with your arms. From there, you'll begin rotating your arms counterclockwise or forwards, making big circles with your arms. As big as you can, we'll continue the motion for 30 seconds. We'll now do the same in the opposite direction, so going backwards and continue on for 30 seconds. The backwards motion may feel a little uncomfortable, just because it's a little less natural. We'll also do the same for alternating arms, moving forwards and backwards, 30 seconds each. You can also do this running in spot to keep the heart rate up. You'll probably begin to feel this in your shoulders, chest, and back as you rotate your arms. With the following exercise, you're going to be needing a PVC stick or resistance band. We're going to begin by gripping the stick with a wide grip and pulling both hands away from one another. Bringing the band up to chest level, and you want to ensure that the arms create a wide triangle. From chest level, you will want to slowly raise your arms over your head. Continue this movement until your arms reach behind your back. You will feel this movement in your rotator cuffs and scapula, as if your shoulder blades are kind of touching when your arms are behind you. You can choose to hold this position at the back for 10 seconds and slowly bringing it back over your head into the original position at the front. Repeat for 6 repetitions, holding for 10 seconds when reaching the back and holding for 5 seconds in the front. This movement will really help open your range of motion to avoid any injuries when bench pressing. The hip airplane will help with deadlifts within the program for client A. So you want to begin with a single leg RDL, standing on one foot with the back leg straight and slightly lifted towards the ground. Core braced from head to toe like a teeter-totter, start to bend forward, really focusing on the hip hinging forward movement towards the ground. Make sure that the floating leg stays pointed towards the ground because you don't want your hip to open and externally rotate. You want to keep the hips facing towards the ground. If you are doing the movement correctly, you should begin to feel this in the hamstrings and glutes. You can also use your hands for additional balance, as there's a lot of stability needed in this movement. The bird dog is great for opening up range of motion and hip flexors for that hinging motion in the deadlift. So you're going to start off with positioning in all 4 hands and knees on the ground like a dog position. With alternating hands and feet, extend and lift one leg and arm out. Keep toe pointed towards the ground, and arm and leg should be straight and an extension of your core. Engage in your core when extending arms and legs to keep balance. Hold each position for 5 to 6 seconds and return to the original position. Repeat 10 times, then do the opposite limb. Tip: focus on driving the heel back to help activate the glute. Onto specific activation warm-up, we're going to start off with a bench press movement with a resistance band. So this movement is to help mimic a bench press. The client has tightness in shoulders and upper back, so these exercises will help prime the muscle prior to adding weight to the bench press movement. The exercise can be modified with the usage of weaker or stronger resistance bands. So essentially you're going to start off with laying the resistance band flat on the ground, lying down on top of the band and grabbing the resistance band in each hand, holding it chest height and just slightly outside the shoulders. Slowly extend the arms towards the sky with elbows below wrist. The elbows will remain directly below the wrist as you lower down slowly. Do the following for 10 repetitions. Moving on to scapula push-ups. This is important as the client has tightness in the shoulder area and the back area. So you want to make sure that your starting position has a hollow-like arc, not really sagging down as seen previously. So you want to focus pressure from the hands into the ground and drive the shoulder blades together as if you're trying to squeeze a penny between your shoulder blades. Once they touch, drive them back up into that hollow position. Next up, we have goblet squats, which will work all major muscle groups in the lower body for the deadlift. You want to get into the correct stance and standing with your feet shoulder width apart with your toes pointed straight ahead. When you are ready, sit back and hips back, bend your knees and lower yourself into a deep squat. Make sure when you go down, you keep your chest up and proud while keeping a straight back. If you find yourself arching your back, it means you have gone too low and you want to start driving up to the original standing position. When in the squat position, I want you to hold for 5 seconds before coming up. When standing up, drive your heels down into the ground as you stand and squeeze those glutes into your return position. Lastly, we have glute bridge activation. So first, you're going to start with lying on your back with your knees bent and feet flat on the floor. Your feet should be about hip width apart and your knees lined up with your feet and hips. Drive heels down, squeeze your glutes, and brace your abs to come up into a bridge-like position. Slowly release and allow your glutes to slightly touch the ground and